Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Guru Maharaj was giving a couple of classes this morning as well as moments ago, so he's going to be a little bit delayed because of the Q&A going on, and therefore we just request you to please continue to listen to the kirtan and chant for Guru Maharaj's quick coming to the routine for the program. Thank you very much, and please bear with us.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, while waiting for Guru Maharaj, we will be playing another kirtan, Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, by the devotees from Malaysia as well as the devotees from China and Russia. Hare Krishna.
Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Sri Srimad Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasingha Dev Narasingha Swami Maharaj ki Sri Srimad
Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtatara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki His Confounder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Nitya Lila Pravishta Srila Gaur Babaji Maharaja ki Nitya Lila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Babaji Maharaj ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem Shikoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasa Gaur Bhaktavinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Mayapur Dham ki Ganga Maye Yamuna Maye ki Tulsi Maharani Bhakti Devi ki Yoga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan ki All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balabha Kiri Karetati Gopi Jana Balabha Kiri Karetati Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Giribharadhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, on the calendar, today is called Vasant Panchami. Jalangi, are we, what about the devotees here? Are they got it? Have they got their handphones? Shubha Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, Niting Dalama.
They use the radio to hear the translation.
Huh?
Don't worry, speak.
No, but there's people here not.
We have the radio. Can hear. We're hearing from radio. Transmitter.
I just asked her. She said she didn't hear it. Tôi chuẩn bị hao了吗？
准备好了。
Shuddha Bhakti. Cây Ting Dao. Ting Dao cho lang đi Fanny. All right, so today is the auspicious day, Vasant Panchami. It is supposed to be like the beginning of spring. We see in the worship of Lord Jagannath, they perform the ceremony, the Odan Sasti. Odan Sasti. They offer garments to Lord Jagannath. They offer the big blanket to Lord Jagannath. That was in mid-November, mid-December, in that month, on the 6th day of the month. Sasti means the 6th day. So at that time they offer heavier cloth to Lord Jagannath to wear because the weather starts to get cooler. Mid-November, mid-December, that time of the year, it becomes cool. So they offer the heavier cloth to Lord Jagannath. And it's a special festival held every year on the 6th day of the month. So Lord Chaitanya would go to see that festival every year with the devotees. So Pundarik Vijayanidhi came to Jagannath Puri. Pundarik Vijayanidhi is a very great devotee, very much loved by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, Pundarik Vijayanidhi came from his home, which is over in Bangladesh now. And there's a place there called Pundarik Dham, and that's the property of ISKCON nowadays. And we're very lucky to have that property. It's very valuable, very historic. Pundarik Vijayanidhi was known as Bap by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bap means father in Bengali. So Lord Chaitanya would address Pundarik Vijayanidhi as Bap, oh my father. Because Pundarik Vijayanidhi in Krishna Lila, he is the father of Radharani. He is Maharaj Vrishabhanu. And Lord Chaitanya is cultivating the mood of Srimati Radharani. So therefore he thought of Pundarik Vijayanidhi like his father. Shows he had great love for Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Pundarik Vijayanidhi is also sometimes called Premanidhi. It's another name for Pundarik Vijayanidhi. So it happened that Pundarik Vijayanidhi went to visit Jagannath Puri. It was very appropriate because Gadadhar Pandit he is the disciple of Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Right? Gadadhar Pandit he's in the expansion of Srimati Radharani and Chaitanya Lila. And so Pundarik Vijayanidhi is like his spiritual father. So Gadadhar Pandit, he took initiation from Pundarik Vijayanidhi. That's a whole another pastime. But anyway, we want to speak about Pundarik Vijayanidhi. Well, he was a great devotee. It happened anyway that Gadadhar Pandit, he was told by Makunda Datta, that there's a great devotee coming to Mayapur. You should go and see him. He's really a great personality. So Gadadhar went to see him, and Gadadhar's a brahmachari. He was a lifetime brahmachari. He never married. And he was very renounced his whole life. So Gadadhar went to see Pundarik Vijayanidhi. But when he saw Pundarik Vijayanidhi, he thought he doesn't look like a devotee. He doesn't look like a very great devotee. He's not very renounced. You know, he had nice cloth on, and he had all the rings on his fingers, you know, like Bengali people sometimes do, you know, they have ring on every finger. And he had some necklaces and nice cloth, lace and silks. And then he was sitting on a big seat like I am. And there's a whole table with all kinds of namkins and sherbets and different juices all in front of him. You know, sweets and savories, they were all there, all delicacies, all put out in front of him. And Gadadhar comes, and Gadadhar's a brahmachari, very austere and renounced, and he thought, whoa, this man, he's in Maya. So much sense gratification, so many fancy foods to eat, so opulent. How could he be a great devotee? So Gadadhar was not very impressed, and he was thinking to go. But then Mukunda began to sing a beautiful verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? One of these verses like Ahobakastam kanakala kutam jagam sayapainad apya sadvi. Like that, who could be more merciful than Lord Krishna, that he accepted the sister of Baka, right? Who was the sister of Baka? Putana, right. The sister of Baka was Putana. He accepted the sister of Baka as his nurse, and he took her to the spiritual world. Although she came offering her Ahobakastam kalakala kutam, she had deadly poison on her breast, and she was offering it to Krishna. But Lord Krishna, so merciful, he took her back to Godhead. So this is a beautiful verse. It's in the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's spoken by Uddhava, talking to Vidura. And when Mukunda sang that verse, Mukunda was very wonderful singer. He had the most beautiful voice. And when he sang that verse, it awakened the ecstatic love, the bhava, which was in the heart of Pundarik Vijayanidhi. And when he heard the verse, he just fell off his seat and he knocked over everything. He knocked over all the video cameras and all the amplifiers and computers and everything. And he was rolling on the ground and crying. And the floor became flooded in tears. And he was in so much ecstasy. And Gadadhar was watching, and then Gadadhar understood, oh, this man is really, really a great devotee. So Gadadhar was really impressed because Pundarik Vijayanidhi was in ecstasy of love of God for some considerable time. So Gadadhar, he thought about this. That night after he went home, he considered that I've made a great offense, that I was thinking this man is not a very good devotee. I was thinking he's a materialist, but he's so great devotee. He has so much love for God. And Gadadhar thought, what can I ever do to atone for my offense against him? So Gadadhar, he went to Lord Chaitanya and he asked Lord Chaitanya, he said, will it be all right for me to take initiation from Pundarik Vijayanidhi? So Lord Chaitanya thought, he said, oh yes, very nice, very good, do it. So Pundarik accepted Gadadhar Pandit as his disciple and initiated him. However, it happened that Gadadhar went after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. Gadadhar also went with Lord Chaitanya to Jagannath Puri. Gadadhar was very attached to Lord Chaitanya. He never wanted to leave Lord Chaitanya. He wanted to go everywhere with Lord Chaitanya. And after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Gadadhar followed him to Jagannath Puri, and he was living there. But somehow it happened that Gadadhar, he gave his mantra, which he'd received from Pundarik Vijayamnidhi, he gave the mantra to somebody else, and he'd forgotten the mantra. So he wanted to get he asked Lord Chaitanya, he said, can you give me the mantra again? Could you initiate me? Because I've forgotten the mantra which Pundarik Vijayamnidhi gave me. And Lord Chaitanya told him, oh, no, I cannot do that. You've already got a guru. You have to get the mantra from your guru. But he said, my guru is not here. We're in Jagannath Puri. He's not here. But Lord Chaitanya told him, he said, don't worry. Your guru is coming here soon. And so it happened that Pundarik Vijayamnidhi came there to Jagannath Puri. And then it was very happy, very nice. Lord Chaitanya was very pleased to see Pundarik Vijayamnidhi. And Pundarik Vijayamnidhi is also a very, very good friend, very intimate associate of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami, remember, he's one of the intimate, very intimate associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Along with Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar, they were the most confidential associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Pundarik Vijayamnidhi gave Gadadhar initiation again. He gave him his mantra again. So that was very nice. And then it came to the festival, this Odan Sasti, where Lord Jagannath is getting the winter cloth. And they took Pundarik Vijayamnidhi to see Lord Jagannath and to see this festival. So Pundarik Vijayamnidhi, he's from a Brahmana family. So the Brahmanas, they're very caste conscious and they want to follow all the rules and regulations. So it happened that when Pundarik Vijayamnidhi saw them offering the cloth to Lord Jagannath, that Pundarik Vijayamnidhi said, hey, he said, look, this is not right. They're offering cloth which is all stiff. It's got starch. It's all starched. It's the new cloth. It's not been washed yet. According to the Smriti regulations, before you offer cloth to the deities, the cloth should be washed. You should wash out the starch from the cloth. You should wash out we should wash out the starch. But in Jagannath Puri, they don't do that. Jagannath Puri, they have their own standards and their own customs. Maybe you remember, we told before how Ramanujacharya came there to Jagannath Puri, and when he saw how they were worshipping Lord Jagannath, Ramanujacharya wanted to change everything. And he went to see the king, and he told the king, we have to get all the brahmanas, all the pujaris, get them all here tomorrow morning. I'm going to tell them how to do everything properly according to the Shastras. So Ramanujacharya is a very important person. So the king, of course, he agreed. Yeah, all right, come tomorrow. I'll call everyone. Everyone will come. So Ramanujacharya went home. And next morning, all the brahmanas came and assembled there in the palace of the king. Everybody was there, but Ramanujacharya wasn't there. And they thought, well, what happened? Where's Ramanujacharya? He was the one who called us all to come. He didn't come himself. So then they found out what happened. During the night, Lord Jagannath transported Ramanujacharya out of Jagannath Puri and took him to Kurmakshetra. Kurmakshetra, if you go to Jagannath Puri, and then from Jagannath Puri, if you head south, going down towards Visakhapatnam, then on the road, on that route, you will pass a place called Kurmakshetra. And there's a famous temple there. That temple, well, it's older now, but it's not bad. It needs some maintenance. It needs some manpower. Sometimes the temples in India suffer lack of manpower. One devotee was just telling me this morning, he said the government are offering all the temples in Rajasthan to ISKCON. They want ISKCON to take over all the temples in Rajasthan. Problem is, we don't have enough manpower. Even we don't have enough manpower to run all the temples. There's so many temples. Anyway, Ramanujacharya got transported out from Jagannath Puri. Lord Jagannath ejected him and put him in Kurmakshetra. And Ramanujacharya woke up, found himself in another place. Just imagine, if you go to sleep one night, you wake up the next morning, you're in another place. Quite a shock, you know. And he was thinking, what have I done? And he saw the temple, and he thought, oh no, this is a Shiva temple. He thought it was a Shiva linga, but it wasn't actually a Shiva linga. It was Kurma. It was a Kurma deity, a deity of Lord Kurma, Vishnu. So he was a little relieved. So he stayed there and he developed the temple at Kurmakshetra. It's a Ramanuja temple. But it shows Lord Jagannath didn't want Ramanuja interfering in the worship of Lord Jagannath. He didn't want him to change anything. So similarly it happened, Pundarik Vijayanidhi was complaining that how can they do like this? They're offering cloth to Lord Jagannath and they haven't washed out the starch yet. This is not good. This is not Shastra. Lord Chaitanya explained to him, he said, no, he said, this is Jagannath Puri. This is how they do it here. You know, they have their own standard, their own traditions and method of worship. And Pundarik Vijayanidhi argued, I know Lord Jagannath is the Supreme Brahman, but we're not. We're not the Supreme Brahman. Lord Jagannath can do what he likes, but what right have we got to go against the Shastra? Pundarik Vijayanidhi was arguing like that. He said, these Brahmanas, these people are Brahmanas. They're not the Supreme Brahman. Jagannath's the Supreme Brahman. He doesn't mind what you do. But the Brahmanas should know. They should follow the scriptures. Like this, Pundarik Vijayanidhi was finding fault with the Brahmanas in their worship of Lord Jagannath. And they told him, you know, it's all right, don't worry about it. Yeah. That night, Pundarik Vijayanidhi went home and Lord Jagannath came to him in his dream. And Lord Jagannath told him, you dare to insult my devotees. These Brahman, these pujaris are my devotees, they're worshipping me. He said, you're too caste conscious. He said, you're so proud of your caste, you want to keep your caste so much. He said, you get out from Puri. Don't you stay here. Get out. You can go. Leave Jagannath Puri. You want to keep your caste. You're so caste conscious. You want to be a Brahmana. Go. Don't stay here in Jagannath Puri. I don't follow any caste. And my devotees also don't have to follow any caste. Lord Jagannath told Pundarik Vijayanidhi, oh, I'm sorry, my Lord, I've made offense. And Lord Jagannath slapped his face. Not one time. He slapped his face again and again. Chaitanya Bhagavat describes that Lord Jagannath slapped his face for 2 dandas. 2 dandas mean 48 minutes. continually was slapping him. You rascal, you. And Pundarik Vijayanidhi, his face became all swollen, all red and swollen. His cheeks were all swollen. And the next morning, he woke up and he was he couldn't go out because his face was all swollen. He thought he didn't go to the temple. Usually every morning he'd go to temple to see Jagannath. And that morning he didn't go. And Swarup Damodar wondered what happened to Pundarik Vijayanidhi. So he came to his house where he was staying to find him. And he said, "Oh, what happened to you? Your face is all swollen." He said, "Did you have an accident or something?" So Pundarik Vijayanidhi told him about the dream and how Lord Jagannath had come and chastised him and slapped his face for him again and again. Could see the finger marks even on his face where he'd been slapped. So Swarup Damodar told him, he said, "Oh, you are so fortunate. You've been punished by the Lord in your dream. Usually people get punished. We get punished, we get our punishment in our daily life. But Pundarik got punished in his dream." He said, "This is very special, very fortunate. You're really very fortunate. It's a great blessing for you." So Pundarik Vijayanidhi got the mercy of Lord Jagannath in this way. And he learned Lord Jagannath is not so much worried about all these scriptures and rules and regulations. Of course, that's Jagannath Puri. We, in ISKCON, we do have to follow some rules and regulations. We're not on their platform. We don't have their bhava. So today is actually the appearance day of Pundarik Vijayanidhi. He's one of the special personalities who took part in the in Lord Chaitanya's Leela. Of course, he was older than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As I said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would call him Bap, father. So he was older man, but very important in Chaitanya Leela. And some of the people, often we get devotees from Bangladesh, they come and they're connected to Pundarik and Pundarik Dham. Very wonderful devotees. Today is also the appearance day of Raghunath Das Goswami. Now Raghunath Das Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. There is Raghunath Bhatta Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. Different. So this is Raghunath Das Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he was born in a very, very wealthy family. And there were 2 brothers. One was Govardhan and one was Haranya. Haranya was the elder brother. Haranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. And they were the wealthiest people. They were maintaining all the brahmanas in Bengal. In the past, the brahmanas would depend on charity. And the wealthier people were so kind-hearted and charitable that they would give charity. So these 2, one was the father of Raghunath Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and one was his uncle. And they were giving charity like that. And Raghunath was born in that kind of wealth, such a wealthy family. But he was not happy. He wanted to be a devotee. He wanted to be a full-time devotee. He didn't want to just stay at home and enjoy all the opulence and live in luxury and have all the servants. He wanted to give it all up. He wanted to be with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he got the opportunity to approach Lord Chaitanya. And he requested Lord Chaitanya, Please give me shelter at your lotus feet. But Lord Chaitanya told him, just be a normal person. Go home and keep Krishna in your heart. Don't be a sahajya. Don't take everything cheap. So Lord Chaitanya told him, just go home and, cool it, Sometimes people get carried away, They want to renounce everything. And so Lord Chaitanya he said, just be calm, go back home and be normal and keep Krishna in your heart. In time, you'll get your chance. So Raghunath followed Lord Chaitanya's instructions. He went home. His family had him married to the most beautiful, chaste young woman who was very nice speaking. She never spoke any harsh words. She was the most wonderful wife. But Raghunath still was not happy. He wanted to be with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he would try to run away from home. And they would capture him and bring him back. Many times he tried to run away, but they would bring him back. So then it happened that Lord Nityananda came to Panihati. Panihati is down near Calcutta, not far from the Dum Dum airport. And of course we have our nice ISKCON temple there now, by the grace of Srila Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. So Panihati is right on the bank of it's right beside the Ganga. And there were some very nice devotees from there. And Lord Nityananda came there to meet the devotees there. And Lord Nityananda brought all his cowherd boys with them. He had his Sankirtan party. Lord Nityananda was traveling and touring in Bengal, and he had wonderful devotees with him who were all like cowherd boys from Krishna Lila who'd come to take part in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. So they were all there at Panihati, and Raghunath came there. And when Lord Nityananda saw Raghunath there, then Lord Nityananda requested Raghunath to come forward, and he told Raghunath, he said, today I'm going to punish you. He said, the punishment is you have to put on a festival for all the devotees. It wasn't today, it's another day. It's in the hot season, right? In the hot season, you'll see after Gaur Purnima, it starts to get really hot. And that's about the time when Panihati festival is. It's really hot at that time of the year. And so they had a big festival. Raghunath was very happy because he's wealthy. He had money. And so he has a chance to spend the money on a nice festival for all the devotees. It's a nice way to use the money. You get money, use it to feed the devotees. I think it was... who was that devotee here? He always used to do Shamananda's disciple. Who was it? Shamananda Pandit's disciple, the one who had animals who were disciples. What was his name? Rasikananda. Rasikananda. He would do that. He also had devotees travel with him, and he would just have festivals all the time. A lot of prasadam. Distribute prasadam for all the devotees. It's a nice way to use the wealth. So Raghunath was happy, put on a big festival, and bought all the yogurt. What do you do in a village in Bengal? You're not going to get a lot of things. There was no supermarket. There was no big C or something like that, a supermarket you could go and, he just, whatever's available, the local produce, bananas, so a lot of bananas, and yogurt, and condensed milk a bit also, and shira, flat rice. So that is very nice in the hot weather. Very nice. You take the shira and dahi, very cooling in the hot weather. So Raghunath bought but he bought everything. People, all the vendors were coming, take mine, take. Raghunath bought everything, purchased everything. And they had a big offering and they washed everything. They washed the Shira in the Ganga. They were right on the banks of the Ganga. And the Ganga water was much cleaner than it is today. They could take the rice and they could just wash it in the Ganga and soak it and then take it and offer it. And they had mangoes, of course, also. That's Bengal, right? Bananas and mango and shira and dahi. This is very nice, especially in the hot weather. Very nice. So Raghunath organized a big festival for everyone, fed everyone. Said even the dogs were fed. Nobody went hungry. Just like when we go on parikrama, right? We feed even the dogs. The dogs have a feast. They come and eat everything left over. So Lord Nityananda was very pleased with Raghunath. He placed his lotus feet on his head, and Raghunath took blessings from Lord Nityananda that very soon he could be relieved of his situation. His family were actually devotees, but they were materialistic. They were attached to their sense gratification. So Raghunath Das, he wanted to be a complete devotee. He didn't want to be a mixed devotee. Mixed devotee means you've got attachments to material life. You're still enjoying the money. You're still enjoying the luxuries of the material world. That is mixed devotion. So Raghunath Das wanted to be the pure devotee. And Lord Nityananda gave his blessings that very soon you'll be able to be relieved of your situation. And indeed it happened. After the Panihati festival, Raghunath went home and he was very detached from everything. He didn't tell anything to anyone. But it came that one morning the pujari didn't come to wake up the deities. You know, just like if pujari doesn't get up in the morning to wake up the deities, somebody else has to do it. You have to wake the deities. Somebody's got to do it. Where's the pujari? Didn't come. Somebody has to do the puja. You better, come on. So Raghunath Das saw the pujari had not come. They said, go, get somebody else to do the puja. So Raghunath thought, oh yes, I'll go. And Raghunath left and he understood, this is my chance. He said, everyone's asleep. Now is a good time for me to get away from here. And he planned it very carefully. He didn't go on the main road where he usually went. He took all the back roads so that when they came looking for him, they couldn't find him. He'd gone. His father sent people, so many people to look for him. They couldn't find him. Raghunath escaped. So he got away from the family. And when he got to, after many days of walking, he got to Jagannath Puri, and Lord Chaitanya told him, he said, you are very lucky. He said, you have escaped from a hole which is meant for people to pass stool in. Lord Chaitanya described his materialistic life to be like that you were living in a hole which is fit for people to just pass stool. So you were very lucky to get out. If you fall in these holes, you never usually can get out. You're so lucky to get out. So Raghunath Das made it to Jagannath Puri, and Lord Chaitanya gave him to Swarup Damodar. He became known as Swarupa's Raghunath. Swarup Damodar would take care of Raghunath. And Raghunath was very renounced. He came to Jagannath. At first his father sent money. His father was so worried about him. His father sent money and servants and everything to look after him. So Raghunath would have a fest. He'd invite Lord Chaitanya to come and take prasadam. And Lord Chaitanya would come with the sannyasis, and they would all come and they'd take prasadam. But then after some time, Raghunath sent the money back and sent the servants back. Lord Chaitanya said, what happened? He said, Raghunath is not inviting anymore. He said, no, he sent everything back. He gave up all the money and he sent the servants back. Lord Chaitanya said, oh, very good. So then he said, how is he eating? How is Raghunath eating? He said, oh, he's standing at the door of the temple and he is begging there. And pilgrims come, they give food to the beggars who are at the door. Lord Chaitanya said, oh, very nice, very good. And Raghunath was doing that for some time. He was at the door taking, whatever the pilgrims would give him, he would take, and he would live on that. But then after some time, he was not there anymore. And Lord Chaitanya said, what happened to Raghunath? Where did he go? And he said, no, he's still here. He said, how is he eating? How does he get food? He said, well, now he goes to the drains where they wash the pots, which they use for cooking for Lord Jagannath. And he goes to the drains and he collects the different pieces of rice and vegetables which are there at the drain. And he takes it and he washes them and he dries them and then he will eat them. He is eating the remnants. The different foodstuffs, like, they sell the Jagannath prasadam. They have the shops there in Jagannath Puri. They're selling the prasadam from Lord Jagannath. So often it happens, food is not sold and things are left over. So after 2 or 3 days, it goes bad. So then they throw it out. And even the cows won't eat it sometimes. It's so bad. Raghunath would come. He would take it and he would wash it and he would dry it and then he would eat it. He would honor it. Lord Chaitanya heard about this. He said, oh, I never get so much opulence as Raghunath is eating. And Lord Chaitanya personally came and took some of that food which Raghunath was collecting and eating. Lord Chaitanya came and ate it. But Swarup Damodar stopped him. He told him, no. He said, my Lord, this is not for you. You are not meant for eating it. But Raghunath was so renounced like this. So when Lord Chaitanya finished his pastimes, he disappeared from the world. And then also Swarup Damodar also disappeared from the world. So Raghunath was so broken-hearted in separation from both Lord Chaitanya and Raghunath that he wanted to commit suicide. So he thought, I will go to Govardhan and I will jump off Govardhan Hill and kill myself. But when Raghunath got to Govardhan, he met Rupa and Sanatan. And Rupa and Sanatan instructed him that you cannot do that, that this life, your body belongs to the service of Lord Krishna. You cannot just give up your life like that. It is not proper. So Raghunath stayed there in Vrindavan and in Govardhan. Actually, before Lord Chaitanya finished his pastimes, Lord Chaitanya gave us a very special present to Raghunath. A devotee called Shankarananda Saraswati had come from Vrindavan and he had brought a stone from Govardhan Hill. And he had brought also a necklace of conch shells. And he gave these things to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. He would often take the Govardhan Shila and he would put it on his head and he would put it over his eyes and he would, he just had, it takes so much. He said, this stone from Govardhan Hill, he said, this is the form of Krishna. This is directly the form of Krishna, none different from Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya kept that stone with him for 3 years. But after 3 years, one day he called Raghunath And he gave Raghunath this Govardhan Shila. And he told Raghunath how to worship. He told him, you worship with water and manjaris from the tulsi tree. Ganga water and manjaris from the tulsi tree. He said, this is the nicest offering to make to Govardhan. So Raghunath was very ecstatic to get these things from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He understood that by giving me these things, Lord Chaitanya is giving me a place in Vrindavan at Govardhan. And by giving me that necklace of conch shells, he's telling me that I have the shelter of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So Raghunath was worshipping this Govardhan Shila, and then Swarup Damodar told him, he said, it's also good, you can offer some very good quality sweetmeats to Govardhan Shila. And Swarup Damodar arranged that every day they would get some different sweetmeats like sandesh and other sweets to offer to the Govardhan Shila. So Raghunath Goswami, he went to Vrindavan and he lived there in Vrindavan. And when Lord Chaitanya had come to Vrindavan, he had shown the devotees where is Radha Kund. At that time it was just simply a rice field, but Lord Chaitanya took his bath there. So Raghunath also went to stay there at Radha Kund. But it was just a rice field. And he had no money, he did not bring anything with him, he had left everything. But it happened that there was one pilgrim, he was going to Badarik Ashram. He was going up to Badrinath in the Himalayas. You know, Char Dhams, Badrinath, Kedarnath, like that, Gangotri, Yamunotri. So this pilgrim was taking a lot of gold there to give donation to Badarik Ashram for the service of the ashram there, in the temple of Narayan deities are there. But on his way there, the pilgrim had a dream. And in his dream, the Lord appeared to him and told him, don't go to Badrinath. You take this money and you go to Radha Kund and you give that money to Raghunath. Raghunath needs that money to develop Radha Kund. So this pilgrim, on the basis of his dream, he came down the Himalayas, he went to Vrindavan, he got to Radha Kund and he found where is Raghunath. And he told him, he said, I had a dream, the Lord told me, give you this. He gave him all the wealth. And Raghunath used it to develop Radha Kund and Shama Kund and to make it, as we know it, something in that form today, very beautiful, nice arrangement for bathing. And Raghunath was living there at Radha Kund. For many years he lived to a ripe old age. But he was always very, very renounced. Hardly he slept. He would chant 22 hours a day. Actually, while he was in Jagannath Puri, he inquired from Swarup Damodar about, he said, "What is there any instruction for me from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?" So Swarup Damodar approached Lord Chaitanya on behalf of Raghunath. And Lord Chaitanya told Swarup Damodar, he said, you can tell Raghunath very important instructions which are very relevant for every renounced person. He told them, Gramya katana sunibe, never hear the talk of the common people. Gramya varta na karibe, and don't talk like the common people either. Don't hear what they say and don't talk like them. And then he told them also, do not eat opulently and do not dress extravagantly or opulently. Always offer respect to all others and do not be anxious to get respect yourself. Constantly chant the holy name of Krishna and within your mind worship Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. So Raghunath Das got these instructions from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he kept them in his heart, and he followed very strictly, very, very extreme renunciation. He was chanting the holy name 22 hours a day. Hardly he was sleeping. How he was resting, people didn't know how he managed. Did he eat? Hardly he ate. He was so renounced, so detached. How he kept his life in his body was a miracle. In his old age, still he was active in chanting the holy name and in doing his bhajan. It said he followed the regulative principles just like lines on a stone. He was so dedicated to the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today is the appearance day of Raghunath Das Goswami. Today is also the appearance day of Vishnu Priya. Vishnu Priya was the second wife of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His first wife, Lakshmi Priya, disappeared when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had gone traveling in Bangladesh. She had been bitten by the snake of separation. So when he came back, he found his mother in a very broken-hearted condition, and his mother requested him to marry again. So he married Vishnu Priya. She was a young girl. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became a sannyasi at the age of 24. At that time, Vishnu Priya was only 16 years of age. So very young girl still. And Lord Chaitanya was leaving home, leaving his elderly mother and his young wife with no child. But Vishnu Priya maintained a very strict principles of chastity. It said no man ever saw her face. You know, people would think, oh, Lord Chaitanya had a wife. Oh, we want to go and have a look. She must be very beautiful. Let me see, you know. But nobody could ever see the face of Vishnu Priya. And every day she was eating only as many rounds as she chanted. She would eat that many grains of rice. She was so renounced. And she worshipped the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said that she worshipped that deity which is over there, that Dameshwar Mahaprabhu over in Navadvip. Dameshwar Mahaprabhu, they say that is the deity of Vishnu Priya. She remained in the world for 80 years after Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. She was 96 when she departed from the world. And she was totally renounced her whole life. So today is also appearance day of Vishnu Priya. And today is the disappearance day of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one of the very great acharyas in our line of disciplic succession, coming after the Goswamis of Vrindavan. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur wrote the most wonderful commentaries on our scriptures, like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Especially the Srimad Bhagavatam commentaries are very, very valuable, very important for all of us. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur compiled many, many books. He was a very, very wonderful devotee, great scholar. He lived in Vrindavan, And it was through Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that Baladeva Vidyabhusan learned the philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Baladeva Vidyabhusan had actually come from the Madhva Sampradaya. So Madhva Sampradaya is a little different from our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, but he contacted the Gaudiya Vaishnavas and he was impressed by the philosophy. And then when he came to Vrindavan and met Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he got full education in the Vaishnava philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's contribution to our disciplic succession is very, very great, very memorable. We're so much indebted to these wonderful personalities. Today is also Vyasa-puja. So the students, generally they worship Mother Saraswati. Different artists, people performing artists, singing songs and different things like that, they will all worship Mother Saraswati. They want to get her blessings, dramatic arts and so on. They will worship Saraswati, that they can perform nicely. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a nice pastime with the one great devotee of Mother Saraswati who was called Keshava Kashmiri. Keshava Kashmiri, he was also Digvijay. He was traveling and debating everywhere and conquering everywhere. And he had come to Navadvip and he met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not begun his preaching mission yet. He was a teacher and he was teaching grammar. He was teaching grammar to young men. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a teenager himself, but he had his own students. He had many students. He was a famous teacher. So Keshava Kashmiri happened to meet with Nimai Pandit, and they met on the banks of the Ganga. And Keshava Kashmiri was somewhat ridiculing Nimai Pandit, that, oh, you're a teacher, oh, you're teaching grammar, oh, very good, or you're teaching these boys grammar, you're teaching them how to juggle words, oh, very nice. And he said, this is good for young boys. Of course, he was saying this is just for young boys, people who don't know very much. This is just the beginning of education. They don't know anything. Keshava Kashmiri, he was a great Pandit, very great scholar, very learned. He had all the blessings of Mother Saraswati. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, he wants to humor Keshava Kashmiri. He said, yes, he said, we're just learning. We don't know anything compared to what you know. You please show us your erudition. Please, can you kindly compose some verses in glorification of Mother Ganga? So Keshava Kashmiri said, oh, yeah, no problem. And immediately Keshava Kashmiri begins to recite poetry, wonderful verses, describing the glory of Mother Ganga. One after another, he was composing verses. It is said he composed the verses just like the blowing wind. And he went on for 3 hours composing verses. After he stopped, Chaitanya Nimai Pandit said to him, he said, oh, your poetry is so wonderful, it's so difficult to understand. I think only you and Mother Saraswati herself can understand it. Yeah, that was like a wry remark, he's he's making fun of her, telling Keshava Kashmiri, your poetry, nobody can understand it, what you're speaking. What's the good of it if nobody can understand it? Only you and Mother Saraswati. What's the good? But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he said, there was one verse I wanted to discuss with you, And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then quoted the verse. And Keshava Kashmiri was astonished. He said, you know, I composed these verses like the wind. How could you even begin to remember even one verse? Did you remember this one verse? How did you remember this verse? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to him, he said, just like the Lord gave you ability to compose poetry, He gives other people the ability to remember the poetry. That is called Shruti Dara. Shruti Dara, it means you hear and you remember. And Prabhupada said before the Kali Yuga, everybody was Shruti Dara. Nowadays, nobody remembers anything. All right? But Shruti Dara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Shruti Dara. He'd heard the verses and he'd analyzed the verses. And there was this one verse which he memorized, and he said, there are some good qualities, nice ornaments in this verse, and there are also some faults. So he said to Keshava Kashmiri, would you like to tell us about the ornaments and the faults? And Keshava Kashmiri was like insulted. What? Faults? There are no faults in my poetry. My poetry is perfect. Chaitanya, Lord Nimai Pandit, he said, well, let me show you. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then analyzed this one verse which he had picked out from all the verses. And he told him the different faults and the ornaments as well. And Keshava Kashmiri was just totally defeated. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his students, they're laughing, ha 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 ha, our teacher beat you, ha ha. He was a big pandit coming, but he was smashed by this young man. So Keshava Kashmiri was wondering what has happened, that he thought, I could be humiliated in this way by this young man. He thought, I must have committed an offense against Mother Saraswati. Therefore, this has happened. I've been offensive to her. So that night, he prayed to Mother Saraswati, did I offend you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I must have done something wrong to offend you. You took away all my ability. I could not defeat this young boy today. And Mother Saraswati then told Keshava Kashmiri that young boy, he is my Lord and Master. He is my worshipful Lord. So Keshava Kashmiri understood who was this Nimai Pandit. And he came back the next morning and he fell at the feet of Nimai Pandit and he begged forgiveness and he took the blessings of Nimai Pandit. And Nimai Pandit instructed him, Amanena manadena, offer all respects to others and don't be anxious to be respected yourself. And in this way, Keshava Kashmiri gave up his pride of being a great scholar. And instead of being a devotee of Saraswati, he became a Vaishnava. He became a devotee. So this is Saraswati Lila in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Today is Saraswati Puja. We want to offer our respects to all these great personalities today to get their blessings that we can progress in Krishna consciousness. So we are observing this Vyasa-puja, this Guru-puja, this festival. You're honoring me. I don't know why. I am nothing. I am not worthy of the dust at your feet. I am a fallen soul. So we're praying for the mercy of all of these great devotees. Please help us to become Krishna conscious, that we can progress on our path back home, back to Godhead. We all are here in this material world. It's a very troublesome place. There's so many things to be in anxiety about in this material world. We have to give up this world. There's nothing to be attached to here in this material existence. We have to be convinced that there's nothing really for any of us here in this world. Our real place is with Krishna in the spiritual world. We want to go back to be with Lord Krishna. We want to enter into the pastimes of Lord Krishna, either as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or maybe in Vaikuntha, maybe in Dwarka, Mathura, different places. They're all there in the spiritual world. We're just trying to develop our taste, our appreciation for these wonderful holy places and for the wonderful pastimes which take place there in these holy places. It is our great fortune that we could be here in Mayapur Dham at this time to benefit from being in the holy Dham of Sridham Mayapur. Prabhupada was traveling in America on one occasion. He turned to his secretary and said, "Let's go back to Godhead. Let's go back to Mayapur." So we are so fortunate to be here in this Mayapur Dham, and our purpose in being here is to develop our Krishna consciousness. We must take advantage of every moment to chant the holy name and to hear the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all of his associates, and to serve also all the pilgrims to come here. We're not here just only for our own purification, but we want to also give service to others who are coming here. So many people, visitors come. We want to take the opportunity to also try to serve the Vaishnavas. That is actually very pleasing to Lord Chaitanya and to Lord Krishna. When he sees that we're also the servant of the servant of the servant, that mood is very pleasing to Lord Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows by his own example. Aman ena manatena kirtaniya sadahari. Offer all respects to others and never be anxious for respect for yourself. That is what we want to keep constantly around our necks for constant remembrance. The material world is a dangerous place. So many dangers. If you hear from the devotees living in other countries, so many dangers, so much trouble. And also here, this world, India also no different. There's also dangers here. Therefore, we have to constantly remember Krishna. Our most important business is to always remember Krishna and never forget him. All other rules and regulations are secondary. So we pray to Krishna somehow that we can keep the lotus feet of Krishna always on our minds. Render service. I was saying how Lord Chaitanya told Raghunath, render service to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. How can we do that? Well, we can hear about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Prabhupada kindly gave us the Krishna book, and we have also Srimad Bhagavatam. You can read the 10th canto. You can hear all of the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. We want to cultivate our Krishna consciousness. Krishna's in our heart. We just have to awaken that consciousness. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadai Shuddhachite Korehi Udai. That love for Krishna is in the hearts of every living entity. It is established there eternally. But it has to be awakened by hearing. Very important for us, therefore, that we hear regularly the message and the topics of Krishna, the teachings of Lord Krishna. We want everyone to hear. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his literature, we're able to give more and more people the chance to hear about Krishna. So we try to distribute the message of Krishna, and we want to relish also the topics of Krishna, our own self. So this is an important time in the year. We're coming up to the appearance of Srila Advaita Acharya, and then there will be Nityananda Trayodasi, the appearance day of Lord Nityananda, and we will go on to the most auspicious appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaur Purnima. So many wonderful festivals are coming for us. We want to be in full consciousness to take advantage of these festivals, to hear and to chant and to immerse ourselves fully in the mood of devotion. And that way, our stay here in Mayapur will be successful. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
As Maharaj just now mentioned, that we are very fortunate to be here in Sri Mayapur Dham, and we get opportunity to serve so many devotees visiting Sridham Mayapur and pilgrims. So today is a very important day for all of us to serve our dear Gurudev, who has been representing Krishna, distributing Krishna's mercy for all of our deliverance. And on this auspicious day, we have other gurus, sannyasis, and brahmacharis also, who have sent their Vyasa-puja greetings. So to start with His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, we will, on the process, would like to hear online from other devotees. So I will just read out the Vyasa-puja greeting of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Maharaj is currently based in Chennai. As you know, he is the permanent resident of Mayapur. He has gone there for his treatment. But he has sent a message for all of us. Maharaj says, "My humble obeisances to His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasingha Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj is a strict follower of Srila Prabhupada and a very steady devotee. He was one of the new devotees who immediately took up the difficult task of moving to Kharshadesh on the request of Tamal Krishna Maharaj to start ISKCON's preaching efforts there. He has since then served there unwaveringly for more than 30 years, having picked up the language of Khasadesh and preaching in that language. He is an inspiration for thousands of devotees of Krishna Khasadesh and has many disciples there. He also travels to other parts of the world like Malaysia and Thailand. He is the regional secretary for Thailand. Many devotees and followers from these places look up to him for inspiration and guidance in Krishna consciousness. Maharaj comes every year to Mayapur to teach courses at Mayapur Institute and then participate in Navadip Mandal Parikrama. He walks to all the holy places, dances with the devotees with unending enthusiasm, gives talks and camps out with devotees during the parikrama. His presence makes the parikrama very lively. He has been in Mayapur since the beginning of the lockdown, and during this time, he has given innumerable illuminating seminars and classes. We are fortunate to have him in our midst at Mayapur and look forward to him leading devotees at the upcoming Navadip Mandal Parikrama. We are happy that you are all celebrating Maharaj's Vyasa-puja appearance day today and look forward to many more appearance day celebrations of his in the years to come. Your servant, Jai Pataka Swami. Sishma Jai Pataka Swami, Guru Maharaj ki. So now, as you know, we have other sannyasis like Gurus Subhak Swami Maharaj, then Janananda Maharaj, Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj, Jananivas Prabhu, Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. So I would request now Kasturi Mataji to take over and run those messages through online for all the devotees. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, His Grace Padmanayan Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, everyone. This is Kasturi Krishna Devi Dasi. Please accept humble obeisance from all of us around the world. Thank you for the wonderful class, Guru Maharaj, for transporting us to Navadip Dham and then to Sri Jagannath Puri to share with us the glories of the transcendental slabs. It's very nice to hear from you, Guru Maharaj. And firstly, thank you for accepting our request to honor you on this special day. So it's a beautiful day, Vasanta Panchami. It's coinciding with many appearance day of many wonderful personalities, and it's to our delight. It's also coincide with the Vyasa-puja of Sri Guru Maharaj. So we are now in the segment of hearing various Vyasa-puja offerings from Sannyasi Maharaj. We have just heard the offering from His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, kindly read by His Grace Padmanayan Prabhu. Thank you so much, Padmanayan Prabhu. We are now moving to the next offering from His Holiness Subhak Swami Maharaj.
Bhakti Vigna Nash, Srimat Narasimha Maharaj, appearance day speech. So, the disciples celebrate Guru's appearance day and hold a festival, glorify him. He represents Guru Parampara, other Gurus. We understand that first the Lord gives this knowledge to Lakshmi Devi, Brahma, Kumara and Rudra. From this the fourth Sampradaya is still coming. They tell exactly as it is what they learned from the Guru. Thus, Guru Parampara, the knowledge is flowing from then on, time immemorial. Krishna also, millions of years ago, gave this knowledge to Sun God. That is all mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Because previously, Veda is called Shruti, Vedic knowledge, Shruti Sriti. Shruti means through oral reception, they used to get this knowledge from the Guru. They are good brahmacharis, they could remember all these things. It is not necessary to record it. But the time came when Vyasa understand the Kali Yuga is coming, people will be short-lived, troubled by so many natural and other tribulation, and they will have memory less. So he decided to put it in writing. And we know Ganeshji recorded it. Thus Vyasa compiled all Vedic knowledge for the welfare, for the benefit of the people in general yet to come. And that is why this day is called Vyasa-puja day. Appearance of the some Guru, representation of Vyasa. This system is going on in Gaudiya Sampradaya, which come from Brahma Madhya, Gaudiya Sampradaya, and ISKCON is a branch of it. And my Guru Maharaj gave the same knowledge, what he got from his Guru, they also got from their Guru, and this way it is coming. I remember that Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says that Vyasa-puja means worshipping all the acharyas from the beginning. And present Guru, he represents and teach the same thing, what they say, as it is. So Prabhupada gave his name of his Gita, Bhagavad Gita, as it is. So Prabhupada's disciples are doing the same. We understand. It is called that Vaishnaver Gunagane Jiver Hai Tran. If somebody glorified, take the opportunity to his birthday, he glorifies him, then he becomes delivered from the material existence gradually. So here I take this opportunity. I understand Maharaj, know him from when we got initiation. We got initiation same time in ISKCON temple in London, same very place. Since then I know him. Now I see him for some years and understand, going to places like Russia, like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, etc., and delivering the people to fulfill the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, every town, village, country, everybody will be inspired so that by our devotees, the sannyasis, gurus, to chant Hare Krishna, chant Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name and glorify him, make their love sublime. He says, Jasasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana. One who rendered pure devotional service, he manifests the good qualities of a demigod. So here is a Vaishnava or a pure devotee, whose symptom is this. So, in this day, to his disciple, I like to say that you are fortunate to associate with a follower of Prabhu to fulfill the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Our thanks to His Holiness Subhak Swami Maharaj for the offering, Vyasa-puja offering. Next, we are moving to offering from His Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj.
Please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm very happy, and you may be a little surprised, and I'm very happy to be with you today, although we're separated by many miles. But I wish I could be there with you there in India today. At the moment I'm in Lisbon in Portugal, and we just want to offer our humble obeisances and to sleep on this wonderful occasion, and to be with your disciples also. Memories, so many memories we must have of our time together over the last 50 years or so. My first time, if many of you don't know, even you, Maharaj, may not realize it, but in 1971, probably in September or October, in Bury Place, 1971, I was visiting as a guest, and somehow or another, it so happened that nobody really preached to me personally about the philosophy when I was visiting in those days. 2 or 3 times had already been. You were the first devotee who actually preached philosophy to me, and you picked up the Bhagavad Gita. It would have been that little one in those days, that kind of purple Gita, and you opened it at 246 in the Bhagavad Gita, and I don't think it even had Sanskrit. Now, of course, we have Yavanarta, Dipane, Saptak, Samplatodike. All purposes that are served by a small pond are served by the great reservoir of water. And it really convinced me, practically speaking, just a few minutes you preached to me on this verse. It convinced me that, Krishna consciousness was the all-encompassing solution to everything. You don't need to make separate endeavors to get your pleasure or whatever it is from, other sources, being very attached to various things like music and what have you. I was thinking, how can you just satisfy yourself with just chanting and devotional service? But that really convinced me, and I would say, not just that moment, but throughout your whole life, at least in my association, my good fortune to associate with you in various places like Malaysia, England in the beginning, of course, but particularly in Malaysia over the years, and a few other places here where we've met, no doubt. Maybe in Singapore, India, a few places, but mainly in England and in Malaysia. How much that same resolve, that same conviction that we just have to put our faith in Srila Prabhupada and his instructions. And you're a living representative of somebody who's just hung on, not just hung on, but completely absorbed yourself in Prabhupada's instructions throughout your life. And it was very foundational instructions specifically. Can't build a decent building without a decent foundation. And you've always been such an exemplary example of a foundational devotee. And that's not, of course, that is not a limit, to put a limit on your devotion in any way. But that foundation and the emphasis on that foundation has always been one of your wonderful examples for all of us in this Krishna consciousness movement. Your sheer enthusiasm, so it's sharing Krishna consciousness and practically demonstrating it with your own daily lives. So I'd like to thank you very much for all the association, all the inspiration which you're sharing today and which you've given to us in the past, and I hope one day I'll be able to render you some service in your service to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for being what you are, and thank you for inspiring so many devotees, disciples, other devotees around the world, and being very open-hearted but non-compromising. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I wish you all the best, and I hope for many, many years to come, Maharaj, you can inspire devotees and go forward in your devotion to Srila Prabhupada and give your kind association to the world which so much needs devotional association more than ever before. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Bhakti Vinashna Singha Maharaj ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. Hare.
Our thanks to His Holiness Janananda Goswami Maharaj. We are moving to Vyasa-puja offering from His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj.
Oh, Gauranga, please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj, on your 73rd birthday, Vyasa-puja. So it's a great honor for me, because you're my old Brahmachari friend from very place, and we had many adventures together, especially in India. We were traveling together in a van on the BBG library party. We were going to all the colleges and universities, from town to town, and we were so proud actually that we did 108 standing orders for Srimad Bhagavatam, and we sent to Prabhupada in Vrindavan. And Tamal Krishna said this gave Prabhupada life, new life, to hear 108 standing orders. So it was a very memorable occasion. I used to have small golden-tied deities and made of wood from Jagannath Puri. And I used to worship the deities. And as far as I remember, you used to cook. And it was just me and you. And a driver, I don't know. I wasn't driving, you weren't driving. There must have been a driver. And you used to cook and I used to do the deity, dress the deities, and we went on for months and months. It was really nice. And I wish that those days could come back again. Now you're very scholarly, elevated, educated devotee. I'm just a Harinam guy with a crazy hat. But especially I always remember your wonderful leading of that Navadvip Manda Parikrama. You're like the chairman of it. You would organize it and you'd give some nice talks. I'd learn so much from you. And I admire you very much. May Krishna bless you. How can I bless you? Anyway. May Srila Prabhupada look after us both. May Prabhupada bless you, live for many more years and give Krishna consciousness all over wherever you are, Thailand and other places, Mayapur and China. I think you can speak Chinese, that's the amazing thing. I can't even speak anything but English. You should learn Chinese. Thank you very much. It's my honor.
Our thanks to His Holiness Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj. Next we have His Grace Kratu Maharaj offerings.
हरे कृष्णा। तो आज हम वी नरसिम्हा स्वामी महाराज की जन्म जयंती अर्थात व्यास पूजा we are celebrating. So it's a very, very auspicious occasion, and I wish him a long duration of life, so that he can preach the glories of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Sri Krishna all over the world. He is very empowered devotee. I had a very big, great fortune to be with him for 15 days, preaching in Hong Kong. That may be around 25 some years ago. Quite many years ago. But it was a very rememberable time for me to preach with him. And hope that in future he will do great preaching in China. He he is in China for more than half of his life. So Prabhupada wanted this. So he's fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's mission in China. I'm very grateful to him and to his disciples that I got little opportunity to glorify His Holiness. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, His Grace Kratu Maharaj. Next we have His Grace Jananivas Prabhu.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvisi Samvri Pasvata Deshchatharine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Maharaj Vyasa-puja Mahotsav Ki Jai. So we feel very fortunate to be able to say some words of glorification on His Holiness Singha Maharaj, as we popularly call him. So, Maharaj is an ideal sannyasi, wandering mendicant. He is my hero. I would like to be like that. Not caring for places to stay, not caring for conditions, only interested in preaching the message of Srila Prabhupada in different places around the world. So, especially in the Eastern countries and the Chinese countries. Maharaj spent a lot of time here, Bangladesh, lots of places that were kind of secret at that time. We weren't allowed to go to these places, still not. But Maharaj preached there the same. I'll tell one story. There was we had these buses, Mercedes buses, van, more like a van. And we bought six or eight. Hamsa Maharaj bought them from Germany, Mercedes. And then they started using these to travel around the different places. They also had a van, specially made van with false sides on it. So they could open it. They had a secret entrance to open the false side, and then they would fill it up with Prabhupada's books. And then they would close it again. You couldn't see anything. It looked like an ordinary van. Sometimes they would get questioned, why you have a van with no windows? What is the purpose of that? They would look inside and see that nothing was there. So like that, when they would bring the preaching there, they would bring the butter oil. Butter oil was given by the Americans. Butter oil is ghee. A very nice ghee as well, because they don't have buffaloes there. It's all pure ghee. In America, they were donating it to the Bangladeshis and third world countries. So they would go and sell all the books and come back, and then they would buy it, or they would sell to us. They would bring the ghee back in the false compartment. Then we would we would buy the ghee from them and use for Radhamadava Seva. And so they got that nice ghee, and the Sankirtan devotees, we would pay for all their books and everything like that. So these are all dangerous places to go, illegal. You're not supposed to do what you're supposed to be doing at that time, and spreading Krishna consciousness. So Maharaj is like that. Even though it's dangerous situations, still he went along preaching slowly, steadily. Now he's converted thousands and thousands of Chinese devotees into Gauranga Bhaktas, Radha and Krishna Bhaktas. And doesn't care for opulent clothes or anything like that. Satisfied with whatever he's got. Very detached. When I've been with him, he doesn't really care whether they got nice facility or not nice facility. He just wanders through, doing his service to Krishna. If he gets nice facility, he uses it. If this facility is not there, then they will use whatever is available. So he is one of these characters that is like an ideal Swami, an ideal wandering mendicant, they say in the West. A wandering mendicant. He can go anywhere and do anything. He's not attached to it. So this is one of the wonderful qualities of Maharaj. We see now today, because of his constant endeavors in preaching in the West now, he's getting so much fruit as a result of his service. So, as I said, Maharaj is our hero. We long to be a wandering mendicant. Holding your bag, Maharaj, your bead bag or whatever, or book bag. We would like that to be a follower of the followers of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Maharaj set this perfect example, and as a result that he imbibes devotion, he imbibes detachment, he imbibes peacefulness, gentleness of a sage. So thank you very much, Maharaj, and thank you for all the association you've allowed us to have with your holy lotus feet. Srila Bhakti Vignas, Narasimha Maharaj, Vyasa-puja ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Haribol. Thank you.
Thank you, His Grace Jananivas Prabhu. The last Vyasa-puja offering in the segment of Vyasa-puja greetings by Sannyasi Maharaj will be His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Swami iti namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Dasacharine. So today we are celebrating 73rd appearance day, Vyasa-puja of His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Swami Maharaj. So I will just speak few sentences in his glorification. Of course, Maharaj does not depend upon my glorification to be glorified. He is very much glorified by his own merits, by his own greatness. Maharaj is a real sadhu. How we understand? Because the greatness of devotee is understood by his simplicity. Maharaj is so simple. He is like childlike. That is one quality of great devotees. Balak Sullabh. Very simple, like child. Though Maharaj, 73 years old personality in this body, but when Maharaj speaks, when he laughs, by seeing his face, by seeing his smile, you can see as like a small child he is smiling. Thus, his mood is like a small child, but his knowledge is like very great scholarly personality, saintly personality. So, Maharaj preaching in China, different parts of Asia, he is giving course in MI. But many devotees may not know, Maharaj is the person who leads every year Navadvip Parikrama English group. He personally goes every year. Last many years I have been seeing. He leads the group in the sense arranging who will speak. Very major role Maharaj plays in Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. So I am very fortunate to come in contact with Maharaj through this parikrama. Before I would see him from distance, but I understood him, I realized him when I practically came in contact with him through this Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. So glorifying pure devotees like Maharaj is necessary for us, for our benefit, because when you glorify, when you remember the glories of the pure devotees, that purifies our heart. So Krishna is very merciful to send the great personality like His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Maharaj to this earthly planet, who are moving with us like ordinary personalities. They look like ordinary person, but actually they are not ordinary person. They are very, very special personalities. By hearing from Maharaj, just by being with him itself is a big realization. Maharaj is a perfect example of real Vaishnava. He speaks like Vaishnava. He does his responsibility like great Vaishnava. He looks like real Vaishnava. Always simple and humble. One great thing Maharaj has, that Maharaj never expect any recognition. So that is another great quality of Vaishnavas. They don't want any recognition. Sometimes Maharaj, I have seen very responsible personality. He is not the sadhu of not taking responsibility. He is a sadhu. When he is maintaining a sadhu profile, sometimes he takes good responsibility also. So I am very fortunate on this auspicious day to speak few words glorifying Maharaj. And on this tithi, I offer my prostrated obeisances under the lotus feet of Maharaj. Same time I beg, I pray, Maharaj, please excuse me if knowingly or unknowingly I have committed an offense unto lotus feet. Please bless me so I can develop great qualities like your holiness. Jai Srila Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Maharaj ki Jai. Hare
Thank you, His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj. Thank you to all the Sannyasi Maharajas who has kindly sent out the Vyasa-puja offering for Srila Guru Maharaj. We are moving now to the regional offering segment. Our humble apologies that due to time constraint, we are shortening the regional offerings to a couple of regionals only. We will first call upon video offering from China.
是您以身作则，教导我们要有高尚的品质、谦卑的心态，唱诵主的圣名。请允许我在您的莲花足品，
向您献上最美的声音，让爱您成为我的职业。
哈利 Krishna， 亲爱的老师，维亚萨普加吉祥快乐，加呀加呀加呀，咕噜普加 K 在。
那顶拜咕噜队，祝你生日快乐！祝咕噜生日快乐！
灵性名字来。祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！祝你生日快乐！吉祥如意。
Kipaping tu dia kaloi tasi jena pekati sakala samana palayetia kolo niyamana shivahi.
Thank you, China. Again, we would like to apologize. We truly apologize. We have to shorten the program due to time constraint. We are now going to watch a video offering from Russia.
Obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. We offer our praise and glorification to you in this sacred event.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. In this auspicious day, we pray to stay near lotus feet and offer our service to you. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai! Bhakti Vigna Vinashi Narasimha Maharaj ki Jai!
Our small yatra is very happy to express to you our respect and gratitude for the service. you do every day for the glory of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, and for the light of knowledge that you so kindly give to all of us. We also would like to tell you about our small yatra, which is in the far north region of Russia, in Yakutia, in the small town Nirengrin.
Thank you, Russia. We have now a video offering from Malaysia.
Everybody kindly note that all of these videos, will be shared with Guru Maharaj so that Guru Maharaj can watch it at his convenience. But because of the time constraints, we are just skipping very, very quickly through all the videos, seeking your understanding.
Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Happy Vyasa-puja to your holiness, Srila Bhakti, Vigna, Vinasa, Narasimha Maharaj. Guru, I have seen that.
On this most auspicious day, I beg for your mercy so that I become a very good servant and serve Srila Prabhupada.
That time, and we are very much carried away by your simplicity, and you're very true example for us.
Center and bless all our congregation with your Harinam Kirtan with the center.
This puja means a lot to us in a sense that remembering you, we feel the energy coming down from Prabhupada down to you, to us. The congregation prays and hopes.
Guru Maharaj, we are very, very happy to know that it's your Vyasa-puja today.
Please accept our humble obeisances. Happy Vyasa-puja, Guru Maharaj.
Dear Gurudev, hope the pandemic will soon over and Gurudev can make a trip to Malaysia.
Great service every Sunday, distributing food for...
Happy wishes, Gurudev.
Dear Guru Maharaj, happy 73rd Vyasa-puja, Guru Maharaj. We are so blessed to see Guru Maharaj on this auspicious day. We always pray to Lord Narasingha Dev to take care of Guru Maharaj health, and we always love Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I am service the Food for Life team. Thank you, Maharaj, for your blessing.
I'm Kesav and service from ISKCON Bukit Mentajam.
Happy Vyasa-puja, Hare Krishna.
Happy Vyasa-puja, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Next, a final, we have video offering from Singapore.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, we would like to wish you a great Vyasa-puja, and we all miss you a lot over here, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, I wanted to inform you that Krishna is now 8 years old and he's in primary 2. We thank
me not only by guiding me via email but also over call, and I'm always so grateful.
Namo Vishnu-padaya Krishna-padishtaya Bhutale Bhakti Vigna Vinasha Narasimha. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Dear Guru Maharaj, on this most auspicious day of your appearance, I would like to
wish you good health and stay safe.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, we pray to Krishna that you'll continue your preaching, and we pray for your association.
Singapore soon.
Dandavak Maharaj, please bless us that we would always remain in Srila Prabhupada's mission.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada and to your preaching.
Please accept my prostrated obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to your holiness. On this most auspicious day of your Vyasa-puja, myself and Radhika would like to extend where you will continue to
telling me to continue more performances to spread the love and stories about Krishna, and as I do my Aranga Pravesham for my graduation for my dance, it's still
realization in the same spirit service this year. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, happy Vyasa-puja.
We can still continue. We are continuing with the video offering from Kazakhstan.
Dear Bhakti Vigna Vinasha Narasimha Maharaj, on this blessed day of your Vyasa-puja, please accept our humble obeisances. All glory to our beloved Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much for being a role model,
for making us stronger
and happier,
for your contagious love and devotion.
Srila Prabhupada with us.
From Srila Prabhupada, you've inherited an intelligence as sharp as a razor,
mother, and the smile of the happiest, innocent child.
We hope and wish that the seeds of wisdom you generously plant in our hearts will sprout up and bear fruits to offer to the lotus feet of our Guru Parampara.
Vigna Vinasha, Narasimha Maharaj K.
Next, offerings from India.
Very happy Vyasa-puja, Guru Maharaj ki Jai!
We're preaching in one of the most difficult countries in the world.
In Mayapur Parikrammas every year, Maharaj stays in the camps, shares the public toilets, gets up early so early in the morning. All through the Parikrama he walks and he inspires devotees.
Me and your disciple.
Level of humility, it's very, very deep. And we had this fortune to get this association, personal association.
Blessing from you, Maharaj, for getting advancement in Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Maharaj.
There is a drama presentation by devotees from ISKCON Nasik.
Build Sambandha Gyan with Krishna in order to develop our love for him and achieve the supreme benediction. As Srimad Bhagavatam says, Na te vidhu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. The supreme goal of life is to return home, back to Godhead.
Oh hey Vaishnava Guru, Yara Saguru, Yadase
We are having, next we are moving to offering from Switzerland.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We all are waiting to see you in Geneva sometime soon, and we wish you all the best and good health. Haribol.
We have Middle East next.
I'm blessed to make a small offering of mine on the occasion of the 73rd Vyasa-puja. Always been my favorite, I think, world over. We have a few disciples of Maharaj here in Damodar Desh, and they are all gems.
So caring and very down to earth. I remember most of the neophyte devotees, sometimes when they give you pranams, you yourself, Holiness, would bow down immediately, which was not really required as such, but still you are so caring and you are so down to earth that you don't miss that opportunity to even honor even the smallest of Vaishnavas. So thank you, Maharaj, for being a part of our wonderful ISKCON movement, which you have made it very strong in parts of China and Far East and so many other countries.
Your contribution to Srila Prabhupada mission is so amazing.
In those classes were really deep. Maharaj, thank you for always guiding us. I am always inspired by your quality of humility and the dedication to serve Srila Prabhupada. And you are so dedicated that you always want to give Krishna consciousness to all the jivas on this auspicious day of your
Next offerings is from Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Please accept my humble obeisances. My obeisances to all my God sisters and my God brothers. Recently, trouble by teaching very much.
Hare Krishna. 亲爱的林老师你好，我是春高 Vidya Devidasi。再次的祝福老师您生日快乐，也请求您仁慈的庇护，让我们的服务能够越来越好，让我们的灵性能够越来越进步。谢谢老师 ，Hare Krishna。
亲爱的马拉学，顶拜您，所有的荣耀归于圣高巴。我是尼尔古纳，在这里恭贺老师生。
Finally, we have a video from Nepal. So thank you to all the regional offerings to Srila Gurudev's Vyasa-puja Mahotsava. We are now moving to a kirtan, will be followed by Guru Puja, handing over to His Grace Padmanayan Prabhu. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, there were also some videos, some kirtans produced. I'm just going to do a quick roundup of those 3 kirtans.
Okay, Prabhu, please carry on.
Hare Krishna,
Padmanabhan Prabhu. Hare Krishna everyone, so just please hold on because Guru Maharaj has just gone out for a few seconds. He should be back. And they are preparing for the Arati, etc.
Krishna
Can you set up? Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Maharaja Iti Namine Esha Pushpanjalihi Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Maharaja Iti Namine Esha Pushpanjalihi Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Maharaja Iti Namine Esha Pushpanjalihi Shri Srimad Bhakti Vigna Vinasa Narasimha Maharaja Iti Vyasa-puja Mahotsav ki Srila Prabhupada ki Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Hari Bol. So, hey, you going to chant? No, I'm going to chant Sangsar Davana. Sangsar Davana. So while Maharaj is offering arati, let us chant Sangsar Davanal. Sangsara Davanal Lidha Loka Tranaya Karunya Gana Ghanatvam Praptasya kalyana gunarnabhasya Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam Mahaprabhu ki
नृत्य गीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसरसेन रोमाञ्चकम्पासुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधन नित्यनाना सिंगारतन्मान्दिरमार्जनादो युक्तस्य भक्तांश निजुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत प्रसाद स्वादन्न तृप्तान् हरिभक्त संघान् कृतैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना प्रतीक्षणास्वादनलोपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् निकुञ्जजुनारतिकलिसिद्धै जाजालिभिजुक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदाक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् साक्षाद्धरितेन समस्तशास्त्रै उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः साक्षाद्धरितेन समस्त किन्तु प्रभुर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरौ श्रीचरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो ध्यायन्तु वां तस्य यशस्त्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरौ श्रीचरणारविन्दम् ध्यायन्तु वां तस्य यशस्त्रीसन्ध्यं श्रीचरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरौ श्रीचरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरौ श्रीचरणारविन्दम् Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hare Krishna. Now we'll have Nishingo Arati Maharaj.
Namaste Narasimhaya Pralada Lada Dhayane Hiranya Kasipur Vakshaha Shilatanka Nakalai Ito Nishringa Parato Nishringa Yato Nyamitato Narena Kam Adbhuta Shringri Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahare Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Narasimha 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 Jaya Narasimha Jai Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki, Gaur Premanande Haribo. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajagacharya Ashtatarasata Shri Srimad's Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki, Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasade Gaur Bhakta Vinda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki, Vrindavan Mayapur Dham Ki, Ganga Maye Yamuna Maye Ki, Tulsi Maharani Bhakti Devi Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Ki. All glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, all glories Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So our heartfelt gratitude to His Grace Padmanayan Prabhu for assisting with the entire organization of this event. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Team Mayapur Institute. Thank you very much, Damodar Prabhu, Pavan Gopa Prabhu, and the entire team at Mayapur Institute. Thank you very, very much. So, and to the 290 devotee families who have joined this Zoom session, thank you very much to all of you. And it's only because of your support that we can actually have an event like this. So hopefully next year we can do this in person with more of us traveling over to Mayapur or to wherever Guru Maharaj is. I will just wait for some of the devotees to turn on the volume. It looks like there is a nice cake offered to Guru Maharaj. Okay. So I think you can log off from the Zoom session whenever you would like. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.